Why have I lost my clapping abilities? There we go. What? Today we're reacting to Jubilee. Has social media harmed these teens? Now, before I go into watching this video, I already know the answer. I already know how I feel about this situation. Yes, obviously. Yes, social media is harmful in some facets. However, it also does a lot of good in some facets. What they really should be asking is, does it do more harm than good? Because that's the real question. But yes, I have just turned 17, which qualifies me to be a teen who in fact does use social media. This is an interesting topic. Let's begin. And I don't want to see any goddamn comments that I'm copying PewDiePie. As of right now, he has not reacted to this yet. So this is my time. This is my time to shine.
I'm pro social media because I like to send memes to my grandma. I like to keep connected with my friends.
Memes to his grandma.
I didn't know what a trans guy was before I was on TikTok. I just thought I was a masculine girl.
This is such a weird subject for me because I'm literally on social media. It's totally helped me. But then there's also some times that it just makes me feel like shit.
I'd say that I would make like $30,000 to $40,000 a month.
I'm anti-social media.
40,000. Hold on, I need to get something. Damn, $30,000 to $40,000. She must have many sponsors, because you're not going to get that from AdSense. That's for sure.
So do you think Instagram is the most detrimental social media?
No, I think TikTok is. Because it's manipulating their users and taking so much information from them, and they're showing that through the For You page.
I totally can agree with this girl on almost everything she said. You have to ask yourself, how much sexual content on an app for children, primarily used by children, should be allowed? Instagram isn't even primarily children. It's actually primarily teens. There's not as much sexual content on Instagram that I have ever seen on TikTok. It doesn't even compare. TikTok, it's almost every other video. Somebody half nude or shaking their ass or anything, man. For TikTok to be this sexual, bro, at such a young age, come on, guys. So yeah, that's what she just said is almost exactly my views on TikTok, and it's basically the reason I left. Also, I stopped getting lots of views and it made me very demotivated.
I'm on Instagram, TikTok, and a little bit of YouTube, and I am pro social media because it helped me meet a lot of other trans kids when I was struggling.
Hi, I'm Ella. I'm 15 and I'm anti-social media because I find it really toxic and competitive for myself.
Hi, I'm Emma. I'm 18 and I am anti-social media, and I'm the CEO of a movement that works to kind of promote a healthier existence on social media.
My name is Emmy. I'm 16. I'm anti-social media because of personal experience and general anxiety.
Being anti-social media because of anxiety and personal experience, if you're being bullied on social media, people try to compare bullying online to bullying in real life. And you can't compare those two. They're not the same. Because in real life, you really can't escape as easily as on social media. It's almost like hot and cold. It's like in real life, if you're being bullied at school, you can't just stop school. It's not easy to move schools. But on social media, you literally can just stop using it. I know that's better said than done. I do know that. I know it's easier to say I'll stop using social media than to actually do it when you're getting hate and being bullied online. Because yes, social media is basically part of everyone's life, and if you don't have it, then it's probably going to be harder to make friends, and you're probably not going to have as many things to talk about with your friends if you're my age. So I do understand that factor, but don't compare bullying in real life to bullying on social media. They're different things. So I don't know if you should be against it just because you've had bad experiences on it.
I spend more than 3 hours on social media daily.
Come on, who does it, bro?
For me, a lot of my school stuff got pushed to social media, all the clubs and orgs. Another one that's more personal to me is that keeps you in touch with your family. All my family's in Vietnam, so yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of my friends are online, and I'm just on their accounts, hyping them up, or just texting them on Instagram, because I don't like to use regular text.
I want the disagrees to come forward.
And I get 100 notifications a day from my best friend saying, I found this new video you would love. And I'll click on it occasionally, and I love the video because it's funny, it's short, and it matches my personality. But it makes me really upset when I FaceTime with my friend and she's scrolling through TikTok. It's really scary to see my friends kind of disconnect with me and just...
Yeah, so what I think is happening already and what's going to continue to happen. People are lonely. I'm lonely. Many people just don't have friends, okay? I mean, why do you think people love Twitch streamers so much? Where people will literally just watch other people for hours, play video games, and talk to chat. It's like a substitute for a friend. That's literally what it is. People crave that, and when you can't get that in real life, you find it in other places. You're gonna see that more and more.
Makes you
Social media makes you anti-social media. What does that mean? I don't understand. Social media makes...
There can be communities found within social media, but my personal experience with it, and from a lot of stories that I've heard through Log Off, is that a lot of kids have lost people because of social media. And I think that that constant mindless scrolling allows you to kind of go into this bubble and just hunker down and to not really talk with people.
I definitely would base like entire friend groups to hang out and just take pictures. Like we wouldn't communicate, it would just be pictures just to post on Instagram. And then I would find myself that like we didn't even connect when we were hanging out. It wasn't quality time because
if your friends do that, man, and if that's the majority of the time you spend with your friends, if the majority of the time that you spend with your friends, like over 50% of the time you even see them, is just to take photos for social media, maybe rethink it. Just maybe rethink a little bit.
Or I like to, sometimes I'll make my post, I'll make it a question, like the caption. I like to interact with like a lot of my followers through comments because I'm uncomfortable, messaging them personally. It's good to like interact with the people that support you.
But what would you say?
All right, I agree with that. Yeah, there's a wall. I do love having a community on social media and YouTube. It's the best thing about it. It is the best thing about it, interacting with you guys. But there is a barrier. There's a line that once it's crossed, it gets to the point of creepy. And none of you have passed that line yet. But I'd say that line is probably, if you ever show up at my house, that would 100% cross the line. Stuff like that, where it just goes too far to the point to where it gets too personal.
Because I don't know if you guys know, we're not really strangers. If you guys know them, they have a card game. You don't know. Okay, so it's basically a card game where you have perception, analysis, and then reflection, and then you just have conversation like, or how are you really, or what would you name the chapter of this in your life? And then boom, we're in a 20-minute conversation that like she feels really low and she's trying to change, and I would have never thought that if this social media account didn't push me or didn't encourage me to have deeper conversations.
Issue is with the algorithm in place, like that's not popping up on my feed. Like I don't know that those exist, and because it's so expansive and because there's so much hollowness and mindless scrolling, like I've never found that. If I found that, I would have loved that.
With the algorithm and the fact that you never see those things, like I always feel like we're on a whole different side of TikTok than you are, and all it takes is just to look up like deep conversations on the internet. There would have been a Vogue article about we're not really friends, and then you would have looked it up, So in order to change your algorithm, you just have to change the things that you're looking for.
But don't you think maybe like the algorithm in place is what's making it so dangerous?
Okay, sure, it would be great if everyone went out of their way to look up things that they wanted to find, but nobody does that. Nobody's going to do that. The vast majority of people, when joining social media or a social media app like TikTok, all they're gonna do is join and scroll. Whatever is presented to you is gonna be what you're going to see. Think of new users on YouTube. What would you even search on YouTube to start off with? You'd probably just start scrolling, see what pops up and interests you. Almost nobody when joining social media has something in mind they're going to look for unless you've already been on social media for a long time.
I sat down here saying that social media makes people antisocial, but hearing Alexa and Alex speak, it makes me remember that social media isn't just the whole TikTok scene. It's also schools. There's clubs and stuff. I've made a couple new friends from social media because they live in Ventura, I live in San Diego. So I don't think it's necessarily just the whole big fame thing. There's also the smaller groups.
Yeah, but we're talking about in general. Does social media make you antisocial? And I would say 100% yes. There is a disconnect from talking to somebody in real life and catching social cues in real life and then messaging somebody or even talking to them on the phone. There's physical social cues too.
I have been bullied on social media.
I don't have a big following, so it's mostly people I know. Usually it's TikToks, and it's not with my name in it, but you can tell that it's implied towards me. And I try not to comment, but like there's some points where they're coming out and saying like completely false things about me. Posting and hating on someone through the internet is completely different from in person because it's there forever. You don't have control over that because it's up to them to delete it.
No. Wait, no, that is true. Never mind, that's true. It's there forever, but that doesn't mean it's worse than bullying in real life. And I don't think that makes it worse than bullying in real life.
My cyberbullying experience, the first big one, I was in this dance team, right? And I was the shortest kid, the fattest kid, and one of 3 Asians. So I clearly stuck out no matter what I did. And after practice, all the girls would do that 2014 ass out titties and the duck face thing pose. One day one of them invited me to take the photo with them, and I thought this was the only way you could pose on Instagram. So I did it, and then they took the photo and they were all like laughing and they started uploading it. I didn't know why. Over like the next 2.5, 3 years, they would continuously like bring me into the photo. Like I would never just go up. They'd always ask me, hey, do you want to be in the photo? Do you want to be in the photo? So I felt like I was being included. But when I like got a phone and when I got an Instagram and when I started following like my fellow dance team members, I would look at their Instagrams and like from the beginning, it's photos of me. They'll zoom in on me and they'll be like, look at that fat thing, that fucking monster. Like, is it trying to pose? Like, what does that thing think it is? Like,
Jesus Christ. Children are vicious compared to adults. You know the reason why? Because when they say something hurtful, they're telling the truth. Adults will give everything they say a facelift and be like, oh no, that looks fine on you. No, that's perfectly... No, not children. No, they're horrible.
Social media can cause young people to hurt themselves.
Yes, so can many other things. I mean, almost everything. Any interaction you have within your life that might be bad.
Instagram, TikTok, everything is the highlight reel. My Instagram, I'm not gonna post the ugliest picture of me. When I scroll through my friends, in the back of my head, I should know that's the same for them. Yet I'm like, they look so pretty. Why do I not look like that? And I think for younger generations, it's really scary that they're gonna have to deal with this.
Yeah, I'd say to fix that, people need to start being more honest and need to start showing that side of themselves more often. There's just one video I was gonna film on TikTok, and I had filmed it, and I realized I had a lot of acne on my face, and I was like, God damn, Jesus Christ, like the light caught my face in the perfect way to show everything. And I almost refilmed the video just because of that, and I realized, I was like, what am I doing? I'm feeding into this beast where everyone will only use the peak photo of themselves, then people receive that as how you look normally, which is just a lie. H3H3 made a great video talking about it.
How much these dance photos were ruining me. That's kind of when I knew like social media is not something I'm not safe here, you know? And so an excuse I can make for not pleasing people online is that I don't use it, and then I'll be okay.
The bad thing about social media is like if you have a bad friend in real life and your mom's like avoid them, don't be next to them and stuff, but on social media you almost can't avoid them, and I feel like
Okay, I'm sorry, that's not true. Maybe it feels like you can't avoid them because of how relevant social media is in everyone's life, including yours and your friends' lives, and so you feel like it's something you almost have to use. But truly, if it's making you feel like that, first of all, the people obviously shouldn't be saying this stuff, and they're the real bullies. But it's also, after that, it's up to you to delete the app or block them. And if blocking them doesn't work, maybe social media is not for you. You can't compare social media bullying to bullying in real life, and I don't like when people do it because it's a false comparison, and one can be significantly worse than the other, while everyone on social media can always delete the app. I'm aware it's a hard thing to do, it's easier said than done, but I'm saying the option's still there, which you don't have in real life in many cases.
Where like a lot of kids can get hurt because they comment rude things on your things, or they don't share the same opinions, and those friends are horrible, you know?
I don't know how Tumblr is now because I don't go on it, but there are a lot of like self-harm pages and eating disorder pages with like ideas to make yourself lose weight. There's so much of that on Tumblr that I had to get off of Tumblr, and I think that definitely will hurt kids now and in the future.
I just couldn't imagine being like 10 or 11 or 12, just being so young and looking through this and taking all these suggestions in. I'm 18 now, like I go through it and I know better, but I feel like you could get seriously hurt when you're young because you really just don't know anything.
I agree with that. Dude, children are so impressionable. The slightest interaction you have when you're a child can literally alter who you are 10 years from then. Even something that nobody noticed that was affecting you. That responsibility lies with parents. Dude, some parents, bro, they will blame social media for everything when it is on them in the first place to be monitoring stuff like that. Just like parents who blame video games for their children being violent or whatever, that they're playing violent video games, when they're the ones letting them play the video games. It's like at some point, maybe you just have to come to terms with the fact that you're just not a very good parent.
Children under the age of 13 should not be allowed on social media.
Well, it's kind of funny because I talk to a lot of organizations.
Interesting. This one's a mixed one for me. 10-year-olds can be on social media if the parents prepare them for it and tell them what not to do. But some parents are literally just giving their children phones and iPads and saying, go at it. That's not what you do. So I would say it depends on the situation the 13-year-olds are in.
If I go back to like my 13-year-old self and like I didn't have all the experiences I had and I just kind of knew like, oh, it's a good place, I would be posting God knows what, right? Kids are dumb. And if you give kids a platform to do whatever they want, they're gonna be dumb.
There's no educational advocacy out there to actually allow for that.
It should be a class, like how sex ed is. There should be like tech ed.
Like computer lab
That's
days
not a bad
exist.
idea.
Like, was that
That's not a bad idea, and that probably would help actually.
practice how to not be an idiot online and like how to like learn and understand like the harm of it, because like if I had that education, I know that like I would have like at least braced myself for it.
We're also living in such a weird time. Probably the first generation of children who had social media at such a young age. So we're almost like the test subjects, to if that makes sense. Everyone's now going to be basing what they do off of how our generation handled social media. And it's already starting to happen. There's already starting to be changes, and people are starting to, you know, spread awareness of how children are stupid.
Social media has educated me more than my school has.
Oh, this one's a good one. This one's a good one. This one's hard for me. There are some topics I would know zero about if I did not have social media. I mean, literally, I would know nothing about. School would have never taught me these things if I didn't have it. I mean, if you're looking at the basics like math and stuff, obviously not. Math and English and vocabulary and grammar. Obviously no. So I haven't gotten that off of social media. I'd say when talking about general education, no. But when you're talking about more obscure topics, then I'd say yes.
You know, personal experience is how you learn the most. You know, you go on social media and there's someone talking about this eating disorder, this depression that they went to. It's just someone actually talking to a camera, giving you real advice that a school really could never do.
I agree with that.
I want to preface it with I'm very lucky. The school that I go to, Altamont, is like a private school in Alabama, and they're very, very good with kind of integrating these conversations into the academic dialogue. I totally agree with everything y'all have said. I've learned how to rainbow loom, and I've done a bunch of different things on social media, but I've also looked up like election, and there's been misinformation after misinformation, and with COVID. So for y'all that answered, how do you kind of outweigh like the chance to learn a bunch of new things with also the chance of seeing a lot of stuff that isn't necessarily true?
I think you just have to look for credible websites. I mean, it's just like when you're doing an essay, you wouldn't believe, just feel like blogs, any of that kind of stuff.
It's hard to find credible websites though. That's the problem.
It's easy to get a lot of misinformation, but it's also easy to see that this information is fake.
But what about like a
It's
young
not. It's not easy to see that the information's fake. Dude, there's so many things I thought were real, and I had no signs of being fake that turn out to be. What was that quote by like Socrates? Somebody can just say something's true. Now it's up to you to disprove that. And so it's easier to claim something than to disprove that claim. I think that was the quote. So I could just say right now, the material in cardboard, when confined to a dust, causes cancer. Now it's up to you to go disprove that. Go do your research, buddy. It's like, that's kind of what it is now. So it takes a second to claim something. Could be several months to disprove that claim.
Society would thrive more without social media.
No. Thrive more? What does that mean?
For me, on a macro scale, I think there are some really troubling signs that social media is kind of unwinding society and humanity in the sense of like the democracy debate. Governments can use social media to then kind of undermine elections.
Part of me wants to ask for like a definition for like thrive, because like are we talking about like us as like a human race, or like people individually? Instagram and things can like put like make you have poor body image and this that, but also like in the case of like Alex, you know, it helps him, you know, meet other trans people and understand that like he isn't alone, right? And so
exactly like I said, it's just a combination of harmful things and good things, and there's no way you could come to the conclusion on whether does more harm than good. That's the real question though, right? But I don't think there ever is good. I don't think there's an answer. I don't think there's an answer to that question at all.
And definitely in our society, because everyone's on social media, so if they see this and it gets spread, it's gonna make change.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I made like the log off movement, is because I saw that there was this multifaceted nature about social media, and I at least just wanted to discuss it with teens and to be like, let's figure out how to exist in a healthier way. And even though social media, we can talk about the good and the bad all day, it's just nice to be in one space and have one conversation.
I mean, technically social media did bring us here, so I guess that's a good thing. But like, hey, we don't have to talk about that.
That was fun. Yeah, I still I didn't really change how I thought. I don't have any answer for you. Yes, of course it does harm, but it also does good too. And again, it really just comes down to which does it do more. And freaking parent your goddamn children. Really not, it's kind of like your job a little bit. Thank you guys for watching. Good riddance.